Good afternoon, everyone. Allison Skyberg here with Consolidated Planning Group. We are here and partnered with Kim Rogers from the Gulf Coast Area ISD. She's with Clear Creek ISD. And we have Mary Valhovich. Did I get it right? Okay, good. With Alvin Community College. And Mary is going to be talking to us about the Alvin Community College Strive program. So we're excited about this topic today. This is not a topic that we have presented in the past or featured in the past, so we're excited to have that. So let me just go over a couple of housekeeping items. We are in webinar mode today, so your cameras and your audio are muted, so we can't see you or hear you, but we do know you're there, and we are glad that you're here. We do invite you to put your questions in the chat box throughout the presentation. I'll be monitoring the chat box for Mary, and we'll read out your questions. We strive to answer as many questions as we can. We are going from 12 to 1 today, so if you're planning your lunch or planning your work or whatever, you can plan on that. We will wrap up by 1 o'clock. Today's webinar is being recorded. Everyone who is registered for this meeting today is going to get an email with a copy of today's slides, so you don't have to take notes on everything. You are going to get the slides, and you also are going to get a link to the recording. We do webinars on a pretty regular basis on topics surrounding special needs and special needs planning. All of our past webinars live on the Consolidated Planning Group YouTube channel, which the link for that will be in the slides as well. And this will live out there after this meeting as well. Consolidated Planning Group, we are a holistic special needs financial planning firm. We have over 30 years experience. We are nationally certified as Social Security advisors and members of the Special Needs Planning Academy. I am a parent as well, so I'm baptized by fire. I eat, sleep, and breathe special needs, both personally and professionally. But really, people come to us, they have a loved one that has additional care needs that might be additional than what we would typically see of someone, post-college or what have you. Some of the families that we serve have a family member that may have care needs for the rest of their life, right? Not just our life, but the rest of the individual's life. We put future care plans in place. People come to us, they want to know, how much do I need to fund my special needs trust? We're able to do future care cost estimates and what that looks like. We are really able to do Social Security analysis and when and how to pull the trigger, when and what to apply for, how to make sure you have money in the right buckets to preserve eligibility for benefits for your loved one. We always just like to mention, because there's a lot of confusion in our community of what we do and what a special needs attorney does. And basically, I always say that we're the money and they're the paper, okay? So the legal documents are really important when it comes to planning for your loved one with special needs. Some families that are kind of in the transition realm, they might be thinking about such things as guardianship or, alternatives to guardianship and things like that. They may need to have conversations about special needs trusts and documents like wills and things like that. That's going to be the attorney. When I say we're the money, so the attorneys don't do what we do, and we don't do what the attorneys do, but we are specifically financial advisors that are nuanced in special needs. There are 250,000 advisors in the U.S., and less than 125, about 125 total, are nuanced in special needs. And when it comes to planning for your loved one, your situation is specialized. So it is important that you work with a specialist. So your special needs planning advisors work very closely with your attorneys, and together there is a whole plan. And I just mentioned that because a lot of times we get calls for people saying, hey, I need to set up a guardianship, and they get calls of saying, hey, I need to know how much money we need to fund our special needs trust with. And so I always just like to clear up the confusion on that. So having said that, we are happy to have Mary with us from the Strive program, the Alvin Community College. And so Mary, please take it away. Thanks for being here with us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to to get the word out and to share what we do to as many people as possible. Because we do serve a lot of students who have graduated from several ISDs around the area. We don't just have students from Alvin or from Alvin ISD, they're from all over. So it's really nice to be here and be able to spread this out to everybody. So Strive is on the Alvin Community College campus in Alvin, Texas. For those of you that don't know, we're between Pearland and Galveston. Strive stands for Skills Training, Rewarding Independence and Vocational Education, and that is really what we're all about. We are a program, a post-secondary program that takes students who have graduated from high school or aged out of the public school system, and we prepare them for work. So that's it in a nutshell. So we'll get into more specifics here. So as I said, we are post-secondary. Students that come to our program have either a GED or a high school diploma, be it a modified diploma. As long as they are no longer in the public school system, they are welcome to apply to the program. It is for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities who are in transition. They have finished school and they're ready for job placement. I've been asked several times, what kind of intellectual disabilities are we talking about? Anything. We have students on the autism spectrum. We have students with Down syndrome. We have students, visually impaired students, hearing impaired students. Really, the goal is if you and your student feel like that your student is a good fit for our program, and we feel that your student can benefit and grow and succeed in our program, that is what we really look at closely. So the actual label is not as important to us. We do focus on the skills that students need to be a valuable employee for a job. So one that we try to match what students' capabilities are, where their strengths are, and where their interests are. And we like to put those together and find a job for those students so they enjoy it as well.
Mary, can you talk to us about kind of the range of students that are in your program? So we understand intellectual disability, IQ is 70 below, or developmental disabilities, maybe some have mental health. But, there seems to be, in some of these programs, it's a steep, either you're here and you're, moderate to high functioning, or you're low functioning. And I really don't like those terms. On how, their diagnosis affects them. But can you give us kind of a range of the students that you serve?
Our range is from A to Z, honestly. The biggest thing that we need to see with students is they have a desire to go to work. This is not a student who feels like they are going to choose day hab over employment. This is not a student who is on track to get their, associate's degree necessarily. Although we do have some students that finish the program, and then because of their success and their confidence, we do start them in some classes on the Alvin Community Campus, and I can talk about that in a little bit. But we really have every range. It really is about how much they want to work.
And I think part of the reason I'm asking that is I think for some families, if they have a student that may be higher functioning, maybe they have, frontal lobe stuff, ADHD, or maybe they're on the higher functioning kind of range of autism, so they're not quite ready to go to like a kind of a more advanced program, but this would be a great start for them. They have tremendous potential, but sometimes a lot of our families that have kids that are kind of in that zone, if there is a predominance of ultimately much lower functioning, then we get a lot of pushback from our students on wanting to be in the program, even though the program's wonderful and it might be a wonderful fit for them. Does that make sense?
Yes, I see what you're saying. So what's your question?
It's the pushback. It's the pushback from the student. It's not the parents is what I'm talking about. Is where a lot of these kids that are on the higher functioning spectrum of whatever they are, they don't feel like they fit, or that this program isn't right for them. And that's what I was trying to get at and ask
Is it
about, like,
challenging enough for everybody? And
that's, yes.
yes. So, and I've said this several times when I have people come and tour our program. I don't want the students to come in and fit into the program I've established. I want our program to fit the students' needs. So it does look a little different every year depending on the population of students that we have, but it is still very individualized. So I might have a student that starts, comes and tours, feels like it's a good fit. They come and get started and they really feel, and I feel, and we meet again with the parents, that there's more that they can do that we maybe don't offer. For instance, getting your associate's degree, or taking, a welding class, something that I feel that we have found skills, needs, and interests in. The beauty of it being on a community college campus is we have all of those programs here. So we can work with our disability services office, and I can help with, because there are other requirements when you're going into accredited classes, being that Strive is not a accredited program, it's a certification program. So there is a big difference, but we can help students navigate through that. We can help them if they need to study for a TSI, we can help them prepare for that. So yes, I do have some students that are, that the curriculum is not as academically challenging as they need it to be. And so we do have other options. I can't hear you.
One other question here. Can a high school graduate who participates in the school district's adult transition program qualify, or do they need to be out of the district altogether?
They need to be out of the district altogether. I have had some students that have come and toured, and they have had the option of staying in the high school transition program or coming to Strive. And it's very much an individual decision, but the high school transition programs are, the ones that I have seen, they are really getting very, very good. They're free, first of all. There's no tuition there, but they are really, really good, and they're great stepping stones for students as before they transition over to the college level.
Thank you.
Right. So the major areas of study, everything we do, in fact, I am acting more as a supervisor or a boss and how we're going to be treated at work. Everything is very, very work related. All the academics that we have are job readiness, work related kinds of things. So we do develop portfolios, which include our resumes, our references. We talk a lot about disability disclosure. What are my reasonable accommodations on a job? What are my rights under ADA? A lot of the things that students really don't know about because they haven't been in the workforce and they don't know what their rights are in the workforce. We talk about communication, personal development skills. We have a math skills class that is not traditional math. It's more, what does a paycheck look like? When I do start getting a paycheck, how do I budget my money that I'm receiving? How does this affect my SSI? What do I do as far as putting this in an Excel spreadsheet and organizing how much food is every month, how much rent is? So those kinds of math skills. We also do a lot of cash register skills because we have several students that get jobs and the requirement is being able to use money. So some students are capable of that, some are not. So we find the ones that are and want to. Basic computer and internet skills. This isn't just how to use the computer, but how to navigate social media safely, how to do research if you have a question about something. There's so many questions, but we have the answers right here in the palm of our hands. How do we do that research? And then we do a lot of career explorations. Coming out of high school, a lot of these students have no idea what they want to do, where they want to work. So we do several internships in the community to figure out, what do I want to do? Community awareness, we're always involved in the community doing some sort of community service project. We feel that the community helps us and we need to do the same thing and help them. So anytime we can help in the community in a service project, we do that. We talked about workplace safety, OSHA, those kinds of things, volunteer experiences, and then the social experiences here on campus being part of this college. We are very much integrated into this college, and we'll talk more specifically about that. So we want those social skills, how to behave appropriately in social situations, how to make friends outside of Strive. There's a lot of students here, not just the Strive program, and other soft skills.
Does your program run in the summer as well, or is there any like summer dip your toe in things that you guys offer?
Yes, so we have 2 enrichment classes that we teach in the summer, and these are not just these high school students can take. This is for any student who's maybe potentially looking into Strive, maybe students that are currently in Strive, and a whole bunch of alumni because they always want to come back. So we have summer classes. One of them is a STEAM class, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math, where we do various science experiments, explain why they happened. We do robot building. We do some basic coding. That is one summer enrichment program. And then the second summer enrichment program we have is called Healthy Living. And this course teaches students how to plan, budget, shop, and make healthy meals. We work with the culinary chef here on the ACC campus, who we get to use her beautiful brand new kitchen, and she has helped us. We're not making 5-course meals. We're making things that students can independently make at home. So we use crock pots, or we make snacks that don't involve the oven. So things like that. So those 2 courses are designed for any person that would like to come, any person with special needs. It is a class with our population who wants to just come. It's a great way to get to know the campus, to meet our staff, to meet me, to kind of get a feel for, as you said, dip your toe into the ACC campus a little bit.
Okay, we do have a few other questions. Can high school teachers and parents visit the Strive program? And is there a such thing as kids living on campus for Strive?
Good questions. Yes, we love for people to come out to our college. We have tours all the time. We actually had somebody from TWC here this week with some parents and students. So our students are the ones that give the tours. They love to show off the campus. They love to tell about our program. And they're really very, very good tour guides. They are better than I am. They remember everything. And so we do schedule that ahead of time, but we have a very we have Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday tour dates. Send an email to me. We will set up a tour. We really have a very open door policy. We really would rather you let us know if you're going to come and tour so that we can expect you and have that for some jobs for students, but we're very open door. The second question was, campus.
Can they live on campus?
No, we do not have any campus housing, dorms, or anything like that. It is a community college. We have in the past have students that have rented apartments right next to campus. We have apartments that are hooked basically to the parking lot of the external part of campus. And we have had students, because they're too far away to come every day, they have rented apartments there. Absolutely. We do not have, that's a parent family choice.
Okay, a couple other questions. How long is the program, and could you provide the names of the 2 summer programs again? How can a student enroll in those?
Okay, it is starting in the fall of 2023, which will be August. It is a 1-year program. The fall and spring semester courses are on the screen right now. The internships I will talk about in a little bit more detail, but it is a 1-year program. However, if we have a student, because again, our goal for this program is for students to be employed, at the end of the program by the time graduation comes around. If a student is not employed by the end of that first year, then they do have the option of returning and doing more specific internships and being able to have the job coach a little bit more one-on-one, really focusing on that job placement. But it is designed as a one-year program.
Okay, and
the names of the classes are STEAM and Healthy Living on the website, and you will get this the same website where you it's the ACC website. It's on here when you get this program. You'll see it on there. I think it's the last slide. And we're considered the CEWD side of the college. So you have the credit side of the college, and then you have the continuing education workforce development side of the college. That's the side of the college where we are. So on the ACC website, you will see CEWD, and underneath that it says Strive. When you click on the Strive page, the summer courses are listed at the bottom of the page, and you just register for those online right there.
Okay, a couple of things. We've got an active chat box today. So someone says, is this similar to Bloom Consulting? So Bloom Consulting programs are wraparound programs. So for instance, if you wanted to do this program and then you wanted to do the apartment that's next to campus, Bloom Consulting has a wraparound program that is designed to help a student become more independent, and they have a coach basically, and it's a paid for program. You can pay for it out of pocket. If your child is in VR, then it might be covered through VR. So like living close to campus with some supports, that kind of thing. They don't live in the apartment or anything like that. They're just providing some of the additional supports that the student might need to be successful. So that's Bloom. Check out their website. They are an awesome organization. Another question is, so I think we had one question of how do we determine if it's a good fit for them? That was one. How do you evaluate a student for the program and define the appropriate program?
So the way that once a student comes, I always highly recommend a tour. You and your student are going to know if this is a possibility when you come and see the program in person. If not, if you don't want to do that, we can talk on the phone further. There is an application. There is an application process that you will provide information for us to see levels and things like that. We say on our website that it's a third grade reading level. We have had students that are much higher than that, and we have had students that haven't quite been there that have still been very successful in the program. So that is kind of a rule that's not exclusively just the only thing we're going to look at. I have had parents call me saying, I don't think we're quite at a third grade reading level. Come and see, come and apply. After the application is received, we set up an interview with the student, with myself, the director, and the student. And from there, we will make a recommendation, make a plan for that student.
Okay. And then also two last questions, and then we're going to keep moving, and then we'll take more questions in a moment. Do you help them find employment after graduation?
So actually we start helping, and we're going to get into this a little bit into the presentation, but yes, we actually start helping our students find employment when they are here on campus. So we'll get into that in 1 minute. That's where my job coaches and another part of the program comes into play that's really, really valuable. So the first semester, along with the academics, we do on-campus work experiences. We work with other divisions here on the ACC campus to do a variety of jobs for them. One of the things we like to do is we like to find lots of different varieties of jobs. So we have administrative kinds of jobs, we have computer kinds of jobs, we have custodial kinds of jobs. We have all different kinds of volunteer experiences that students can participate in and kind of just explore, what do I like to do? Do I like to be outside? Do I like to be inside? Just really giving them jobs to do in different jobs to do in different environments, kind of is very informative to us what the students like to do and what they're capable of doing. So that's why we do the on-campus. And we can go to the next slide and I'll tell you some of the on-campus work experiences and what they are. So one of the on-campus experiences we have is horticulture. We work with the biology teacher here on campus to work in a garden. We have a big, huge greenhouse. Students do the planting, the weeding, lawn maintenance, mowing. We also do pruning, all of those kinds of things. So students that are interested in that are welcome to take that. That's more of that's a first semester internship on campus. We have had some students that absolutely this was not their thing. That's fine. They do not have to do that. The next one is physical plant. We work with the physical plant department and the mechanic on campus. We use the vans a lot to go to our off-campus sites. So our first semester students help maintain those vans. So we do the washing, we do the interior, the exterior detailing of them, getting to the point that students can just go do this task independently. We have some students that love that job. And blessing boxes. This is another job we have on campus. We do in addition, we collaborate with the Houston Food Bank and also with the, on campus, we have some donors from campus, and we have boxes throughout the whole campus that contain toiletry items, canned goods, snacks, things for this faculty and staff on campus that they can just have for free. They're located all over the campus. We even have people from the community that come in and take items from the blessing boxes. So it's good for Strive. We get the money and budget the money, go shop for the items, do inventory on the blessing boxes. We do everything with the blessing boxes. So we are in the process, because our blessing boxes have become so successful, we are actually going to start a little on-campus store that we are doing in conjunction with the Houston Food Bank, where students actually will get to come into a little store setting twice a month. And it's expanded so that we're going to have refrigeration, we're going to have fresh produce. It's going to be like a little grocery store, and Strive has been asked to help run that. So the blessing boxes have been so popular that we're kind of growing into the next phase there.
That's really awesome. It's kind of just giving back. That's on top of everything else that you guys are doing. Is your program able to, meet the student where they are through accommodations? We had a question about accommodations in the chat box.
Absolutely. I am accommodations queen. Yes, we absolutely do. We want the student to be as independent as possible. We want them to be doing, challenged, but we also are very good at making accommodations for students. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Music to our ears. Thank you for that.
That's essential. So then the second semester, we take all of that information we have gathered of what do we like to do? Oh my gosh, you're really good at this. You are really good at this. Now let's take these into real work experiences. So we take the students off campus in a variety of businesses, all here in Alvin. Now, when we get jobs for students, of course, we're not going to get them jobs in Alvin if they live in Anahuac, right? We are always going to help students get jobs near where they live. But for the purpose of job coaching and those kind of things, our internships are here in Alvin. We have a variety of job experiences for students to discover. We do encourage students to try several different ones. I have had a student saying, well, I just want to go to the library. That's the only one I want to do. Well, we really have to see what else you might like and what else you might be really good at. So we do encourage students to go to all of the job experiences. Now, we have had some students come in that have an interest in an internship I don't currently have. We to go take that information and we go try to find an internship for a student that meets their specific needs. So I've had a student once who was absolutely loved birds. Birds was his thing. We really didn't have any experiences with birds. So we did find an internship for that student at Wild Birds Unlimited, and he ended up getting a job there. So if we don't have an internship that meets the interest level of a specific, a student that has something that we haven't explored before, we don't currently have, we do our best to try to find it. So that being said, our program looks a little different every year. And because our students are different every year, right? So the basic ones we have, we still have certain externships or off-campus internships, but that doesn't mean they can change. We can change them, we can add them, we can do our best to find one that meets the needs. We also have the people that we partner with in the community are part of our Strive Advisory Committee, because we want to know, what do you want when you're getting an employee, for instance, that has special needs? Do you know about reasonable accommodations? How do we make it so that you are aware of reasonable accommodations? How should the student present this to you? So we're getting a lot of feedback from the business partners that we have, and that's really helping us to prepare students for what to expect in the interview and how to ask for the things that they need, and what businesses honestly are really good at it and what aren't, who isn't. So we really want them to be in working with a business that is going to listen to their needs.
Can you talk to us about, I'm sure that there's a long list, but in general, the behaviors or functionality that is required to be in the program? So you talked about the third grade reading level. Do they have to be independent in the bathroom?
Yes.
What other behaviors are a no-go for this program?
Okay, that's a good question. We, because it is a college campus and it's not high school anymore, we do require a certain level of independence. So students do need to be able to toilet themselves. We can help students. At first, we never just say, okay, good luck, here we go. We introduce them to the campus gradually. We help them get their rides, find out where their rides are going to take them and pick them up. All of those kinds of things. But yes, students, there are times that students are by themselves. There's always staff on campus to help, but before class, if their ride drops them off an hour early, they're welcome to go to the gym and use the gym. They're welcome to go to the student center. We are not with them 100% of the time. When they're in the class, when we go off campus, yes, we are with them. But it is a college campus, and they are free to participate in the things that go on the college campus independently.
I think we lost our slides for a moment, and I think that they're back. Can you guys see the slides now? Mary, can you see them?
Yes.
I think we had a connection issue, but I think we recovered. Yeah. One other question that we have before we move forward, can you give a range of cost of the program? That was a question that we had in the chat box.
That's a good question, because this is Strive has been going for, I think, 9 years, and we are in the process of doing some revitalizations to it, because we are growing, we are seeing great needs, we're seeing things that we need to make better. So because now it is going down to a 1-year program, I don't have the actual tuition in front of me, but it's somewhere around $5,000 for the year. A little more than that maybe, but less than $6,000 for the year. We do have several students who work with Texas Workforce VR and get waivers from them. We love working with TWC. We absolutely encourage people to get a TWC counselor. And I do not guarantee that they will pay for every student's tuition, but they do pay for a large percentage of our students typically each year.
Okay. And so, yeah, that is, if it's part of the plan to get to work, it definitely is something that could be covered. I mean, obviously the household income and stuff like that, there's other factors that go into the workforce commission, but that VR program is certainly an awesome one. Can you talk about the schedule? Do students go every day or certain days of the week? And how do you guys facilitate lunch? Obviously, they would need to eat lunch, so talk to us about that.
Well, because it is a college campus and these are contact hours, it's a little different than high school. The program is through only 3 days a week, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Monday and Tuesday are half days, um, like 8:30 to 12. And then Thursday is a full day, so 8:30 to 3. During that Thursday, when they would be here for lunch, we have a student center that students can buy food or bring their lunch. That's where they would go during that hour lunch. That answer the question?
Yes, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go on to the next off-campus experience we currently have, because this year we have had several students from FFA that came to us, and they were animal lovers and animal raisers and knew way more about animals than I did. So we have an internship with Brigadoon Farm here in Alvin. Students work with the horses there. They do not ride the horses. This is another one of those experiences that we like to have people that are really interested and experienced with animals, because not everybody is, right? So we do barn maintenance. A farm, there's just always something to do. We groom horses. In fact, last week, one of the horses had a baby. And so basically on Tuesday, we spent time taking pictures of the baby, but we also did exercise the horses. Really good experience. We do some yard work there. It's hard work, really very, very rewarding. Some students just really love it. We've had job offers from that place also. Let's see the next slide. I don't have in front of me. Ambika's Place is another new location, again, because I have all those students this year that really just needed more of the agriculture kinds of experience. We work at Ambika's Place, which is a piece of property that a family is going to turn into a group home, actually. They have cows and donkeys and sheep and things like that, lots of chickens. So we go collect eggs. The cool thing about this place is they have a vet that comes on the days that we go. So we get to observe veterinary examinations. We get to ask the vets different questions. So that's a really good one for the livestock also. We also do some indoor internships, don't worry. I keep seeing these are all in a row. I have some students that just walked in. I'm going to just real quick. Hold on. Sorry. Hey guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, Jack and Jill's Children's Boutique is a local boutique here in Alvin. It's a consignment store. We have students that work there and do different things, such as merchandise or organizing their merchandise. Because it's a consignment store, though, there's lots of people that come in to bring their items. So there's a lot of filing to be done. There's a lot of matching items that were sold to the person who is consigning them. So a lot of administrative kinds of work there. Just a cute little boutique that is good retail experience, good customer service skills experience, good cash register experience. Next one.
We had somebody in the chat box that wanted you to go deeper on the severe behaviors that are not tolerated. I mean, you know, some of our kids have behaviors. And so could you elaborate a little bit further on what behaviors are really not tolerated?
Okay, so behaviors are a little bit different. And I thought you were talking about more independent skills. Behaviors, it's not just myself in the classroom. I have 4 job coaches that work with me. So there's a lot, it's a very small ratio. I can't tell you exactly. Our goal is to have 3 to 1, but that would be nice. That would be a perfect world, but our ratio is about 5 to 1. So we have a lot of help. If we do have a student that needs one-on-one intervention or help or problem solving or removal from the classroom or those kind of things, we have the capability and the staff to do that. If it is something, it's kind of like at work. If this is if the behavior is something that would not be tolerated in a workplace on a day-to-day basis, it's probably not something that we'll be able to tolerate here at school either. Now, are there certain days that we have that? Yes, absolutely. Do we want to learn to navigate through those so we can get a job? Yes, absolutely. But if it is not something that can be maintained, if a professionalism and maturity cannot be maintained on a daily basis, then probably not a great fit. But we do our very best to make sure that that does. I mean, we really, really, really try.
Thank you, Mary.
The grocery experience is another one. Social students, we have some of the most wonderfully social students who absolutely love working at the grocery store because they can talk to a million people, different people every day. So we do have a grocery store. The other thing that's really blown up is this personal shopping that everybody does, where you just buy your groceries online and somebody magically puts it in a basket and brings it to your car. And we have some students that are awesome at this job. So we are teaching them those personal shopper skills. We do some, merchandise stocking, shelf facing, bagging, those kind of things, all those things that go along with the grocery store. But we're trying to meet the needs of the jobs that we see out there. And those personal shoppers are huge right now. Next. We do have an experience at the library here in town. We shelve books, we return books. There's a children's story time that we organize the activities for. We can read to the children at story time. Fun experience, quiet atmosphere. If you have a student that doesn't like the loud noises or the hustle and bustle of some of these job sites, because some are very fast paced, the library is a really good setting. The volunteer fire department or the fire station here in town is another off-campus work experience we currently have this year. And again, like I said, it changes, it varies year to year, but this one is this year right now. This is mostly a custodial kind of experience. We do some organizing of the fleets, coats and hats and things like that. But beautiful new fire station here in Alvin that was just built. It's huge. They have a lot of community events here. So we will set up for community events. If they're having a meeting one night, we can set up for the meeting. They have a big kitchen that we help organize that kitchen, clean the kitchen, or get anything out ready for the event. So they have we just walk in, we have a checklist that we go through, and students are able to follow that more independently every time we go to.
We have a parent that says, so the curriculum would be based off of all work-related skills, not things that don't actually apply to their jobs, such as like planets and photosynthesis, etc.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Although
that's
planets
good.
are fascinating. They really are. And that's what the summer classes are a little different, in fact, that we do some of those things, but everything we do is, do you really need to know how to do that to be successful at this job, which is your goal to work here? Is this something you're going to need to do? Student A, yes. Student B, no. All right, then we're going to work with student A on it. I mean, it's
Perfect.
a very logical approach.
One family asked if there's any partnership with the city sanitation for kids that like to pick up trash.
I love that question. And if you can make that connection for me, I'm all aboard. I have had a student in the past that got a job with the city of League City, I believe. And that's exactly what his job is. It's a full-time benefits kind of job where he goes with a crew and picks up trash. Yes. And he loves it. He loves all the time. Love it.
Mary, connect with me after this because I actually do have a connection that might be a great fit. So do connect with me after this. So thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you. Perfect. Another thing we do, and this goes along with, I talked about community service a little bit. We have partnered with one of the churches here in Alvin, the Grace Episcopal Church. They have a mobile food pantry once a month, or not once a month, I'm sorry, once a week. And we take, I think there's 4,000 pounds of food was there this morning, and we take the food and we organize it into boxes. There's a car line, and we help serve people with boxes of food every week. It's gotten to the point that when they call us and they say, we need Strive. Can you come today? We really love Strive. So we go once a week, and that's more, we don't even really call that an internship, although there are great skills we're learning there. That's really more of our community service.
Mary, is Mounting Horizons still offering routes to and from Strive classes, if you're aware?
Yes, we love Mounting Horizons. We are great partners with Mounting Horizons. Currently we have a morning cohort and an afternoon cohort, and they bring students to both of those. So yes.
Do they bring people from Houston and surrounding area? I mean, I know not like you said, Anahuac, okay, but would they bring somebody from Houston or Fort Bend County, for instance, Harris County, Fort Bend?
I do not know that. I do right now. I think it's more Galveston, Brazoria counties.
Yes.
But I did read recently, and I have not been able to talk to my Mounting Horizons connection, but I did hear they're expanding their routes, and I don't know where that is. But I do know, I think Pearland, I think I heard Pearland. I'm not exactly sure. We have some students that, I mean, we actually have some students that drive themselves. If that gives you, if that, you know, just shows the diversity of our population. But we also have people that end up meeting each other in carpools. Happen all the time. People get together and they take turns. The other thing is, because it's a campus and there are other things to do on campus, we do have some students that are dropped off 2 or 3 hours before class, or they don't get picked up for 2 or 3 hours after class. And because I'm here, I mean, I'm on campus still. If they need anything, they can come and find my job coaches and myself. But there's a game room, there's an activity room, there's a gym, there's things that the students can do here on campus if they're, you know, if it's not just, if they can't get picked up or dropped off exactly when class starts. Lunch club is another thing that we, actually one of our students started because they wanted to meet other people on campus, and they wanted to, we even have, because we had 2 Strive classes, we have a morning and afternoon just to keep our numbers low. They didn't even get to meet other Strive students. So we have lunch club once a month where students go into the student center, totally voluntary, optional activity. But when I started it, I thought, you know, it's just lunch. But they have met so many students on campus and made so many connections and networked so beautifully. I think in that picture on the screen, that is 2 Strive students, and they're sitting with the girls softball team. And we made a connection with the girls softball team. And so it's just a really good opportunity honestly, for the other students on campus as much as it is for the Strive students, in my opinion. All right. Interviewing skills. I know a lot of students do interviewing skills in high school. We take a little bit more intense approach to this. We have found that a lot of entry-level positions now have group interviews, which are awful for many people. So we do get in depth on interview skills. We have the students do group interviews and individual interviews. We have them do it with a faculty member or staff member here on campus that they do not know, so that it is really more realistic. It is what a real interview will be like when they actually don't know the interviewer. So interviews are big. And it's also preparing students about how to talk about disability disclosure and things like that they haven't done in the past. I talked a little bit about, at the beginning, about our portfolios. The portfolios that the students develop are notebooks or 3-ring binders that have everything in there. We take pictures of students when they are on job sites. We take pictures of students when they are in internships. So it's not just your resume and your references, but it's really just a brag book of everything. Work samples, when they do a practice Excel budget, we put that in there to show their employers that they can use Excel. Any skills that they have, we try to put in that portfolio, not just written down, but actually a picture of it, just to really show what the students are capable of doing and their experiences. Plus, when you go to an interview, if you just freeze and you forget, you have this big document of everything that you've accomplished that shows how employable you are.
Can you give us an age range of the current class? And you said you had different classes. About how many students are in the class?
So right now we have ages 20 to 29, maybe. I have had students in their 50s before. Maybe who has the student I have that I'm thinking of was just out of work for a long time and just needed to, add some skills again, and got him out into the workforce again. But typically 20 to 29 is about our typical population. Right now we have, I have 2 cohorts, as I said, a morning and an afternoon. And I have 12 in one class and 20 in another, or something like that. 20 is our max. So we have to start a waiting list after that. But when we do get started with this, as I said, we're transitioning from a 2-year to a 1-year program. So people say, well, can I do morning or afternoon? When you start next year, it has to be the morning. You have to do the morning cohort. So it would be 8:30 to 12, as I said, and then Thursday all day. But the following years, I believe you'll be able to pick if you want to do a morning session or an afternoon session. Okay, job coaching. This is a really big part of the program. Let's go back to that job coaching page, because this is what really leads to great success. So we have, as I said, I have myself and I have 4 job coaches who are amazing. And we are all ages too. We go from old to young, just like, so we have a really good mix of people that have been in the workforce for a long time, people that have been in the workforce recently, young, old. It's a fantastic group of job coaches. We start students applying for jobs while they are in the program. So they're preparing. And then when we feel that they're ready to start going on interviews, we help them do the job applications. Now, our job coaches also take the time to call and say, when we, make contact with the hiring managers to let them know that we have a student who is in our program who will be applying. If they need advocacy at their interview, we help with that. If we need on-the-job training, we can help with that. Just making that connection with these businesses is very helpful for longevity and for hiring. Some students don't necessarily need us to be there for the interview. Some students don't necessarily need any job training. That's fine. Some businesses don't really need us. They're like, no, we are really good at job training. I've got your number. If we need anything, we'll call you. That's fine too. But just making that connection and having the job coaches available, we've actually helped students not lose jobs, because I had a student, for instance, oh my gosh, it's 5 to 1. I've had a student who was going to work, being very successful, and I asked about his paycheck. He said he wasn't getting a paycheck. We realized he wasn't clocking in and out. Those are the little things that we ended up having to go help him learn how to clock in and out and solve that problem. But being able to have a liaison or an advocate there for the student that's not the parent, although parents are the best advocates on the planet, don't get me wrong, it is a really nice thing to have.
Mary, I know that we're running out of time, but I wanted to just mention really quick, We've mentioned VR, vocational rehab, through the Texas Workforce Commission, and job coaches through their programs and things like that. We have an entire webinar on our YouTube channel, Consolidated Planning Group YouTube channel, on those programs. So if you're not really familiar with VR, you've not really heard it, most public high schools have a VR counselor at the public high school, so you can talk to the guidance counselor at the high school and get connected that way. You can start your VR online by just Googling Start My VR in Texas, and it'll take you to the site, and you can watch a webinar on how these programs work. But these programs are specifically for individuals with a disability that have an impediment to employment. So you can check that out. I know a lot of families have already heard of this, but there's always somebody that hasn't. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Great advice. Yeah, very good. In fact, I think I'll check that out as well. So we do have a graduation. As we said, we're on the continuing education workforce development side of the college. We do have a graduation ceremony. We make it a really big deal. This is true, important, and valid, and we really, really celebrate that graduation. I think the next slide tells where to, yes, so there is an admissions application on the ACC website. That's kind of some of the basic minimum requirements that we have listed. We've already talked about all of those, I think. And then the link is on www.alvincollege.edu. Why isn't that link written there?
I love so much that you have shared this program with us. We do webinars on various programs out there, like higher education options for individuals with disabilities. And again, we haven't featured Strive in the past, but I am just happy to know about this program. It sounds really exciting. And, for a lot of our kids, they're not quite there yet, meaning, maybe they are going to go into a transition program or mosaic program or other things like that. But I think that a lot of families feel disheartened that there aren't options. And I think the truth is there are a ton of options out there for our kids who learn differently. And I use the term, sometimes we're late to the party. We always get there, but sometimes we're a little bit late to the party. And it doesn't matter. And when you're talking about the age and the kind of the ranges, wherever you are in that planning phase, maybe, it's a few years post high school, maybe it's 10 years post high school. There are programs for your loved ones. So I think that that is so cool to know for sure. Guys, we're running out of time for today. As always, if you've attended our webinars in the past, we always have things to keep on your special needs planning radar. As a parent and as you're thinking of transitioning, we do have webinars on our YouTube channel for every single one of these topics. And the thing is, as parents, things are complicated for us. And all of these topics can have their own webinar because there's enough information for a whole hour, and they all live out there. So, just take time to check these things out. Be sure to understand SSI, SSDI, and those types of things, because things change whenever your child is turning 18. And a lot of these webinars are out there under the premise of knowing that you'll be transitioning, that the child's kind of going from childhood to adulthood. So definitely check those out. If you've been joining us through our podcast and you would like a copy of today's slides because you weren't seeing today's slides, you can email us at contact@cpgcares.net. You will get a link for the upcoming webinars that we have on all special needs topics. And simply, if you're interested in participating, you just register for the Zoom just like you did today. Always want you to meet our team. We work on a collaborative team here at Consolidated Planning Group, so it's not just me. So I always like to have some faces with our names. As always, we are nationally certified as Social Security advisors and members of the Special Needs Planning Academy. Consultations with our office are always free. This QR code on the screen, you can hover over and it will take you to a calendar where if you had specific questions and you want to go deeper, you can schedule with us directly. So Mary, again, it has certainly been my pleasure partnering with you and also with the Gulf Coast ISD. Thank you everyone for taking your time to be here with us today. And as I said, you will get a copy of today's slides and the recording either later this afternoon or tomorrow. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks, Kim. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you
Bye
very
now.
much.